He arrived with a smile on his face and a camera around his neck. Said he was a journalist. Said he wanted to tell Africa's story, that he admired our struggle, respected our resilience and strength, and wanted to share our truth with the world. He spoke softly in flawless French, with a tourist visa in his pocket and a press badge clipped neatly to his shirt. He was polite to airport security, offered bottled water to taxi drivers, gave books to school children, and bought wares from old women in village markets. He snapped pictures of goats, sunsets, and red dust roads. He told people, "You have a beautiful country." But behind that lens, he wasn't capturing stories. He was mapping secrets. He wasn't here for truth. He was here to hunt targets. At first, no one noticed. Why would they? He looked harmless, even kind. Just another European tourist with soft hands and expensive shoes. But something was off. He stayed near military camps, asked too many questions about railways and transport routes, wandered too close to restricted areas, talked to local guards about mining operations. One soldier even joked, "You ask more questions than my commander." The man smiled and said, "That's how journalists learn." He didn't drink. He didn't party. He stayed alone in a quiet guest house on the edge of the city. And every night, when without fail, he made encrypted calls using foreign SIM cards. He never uploaded a single story, never tagged anyone, never published a name. He said the footage was for a special European feature, but the feature never came, and neither did the bylines. Because this wasn't journalism, it was espionage. Burkina Faso's intelligence community watched, quietly, carefully. They cloned his SIM card without ever touching his phone. They traced his calls, logged his emails, and when they laid it all out on the table, what they found was devastating. When the president saw the evidence, he didn't send soldiers to break down the door. He didn't issue a secret arrest warrant. He did something smarter. He invited the spy to ask his questions, live on national television. A press conference was announced. Small, selective, just a few local journalists. No CNN, no BBC, no foreign reporters, except for one last-minute guest. Alain Dugar, a French national, self-proclaimed freelancer. He showed up with his usual confidence. Clean beige trousers, a white button-down, the same press badge he'd flashed at the airport 3 weeks earlier. No tripod, no camera crew. Just a leather bag and a notebook. He greeted the guards like he belonged there. "I'm here for the president's briefing," he said. They let him through. But this time, their eyes weren't just watching. They were recording. Inside, the air was tense. Cameras already rolling. Only 6 chairs arranged in a half circle. Alain sat down, nodded at the others, opened his notebook. No one nodded back. Then the doors opened. President Ibrahim Traoré walked in. No suit, no fanfare. Just a calm face and military fatigues. He didn't look angry. He looked ready. Alain stood and extended his hand. "Mr. President," he said with a smile, "it's an honor. I was hoping—" But the president cut him off. "You've been asking many questions about us, Mr. Alain Dugard. Today, I'll answer them. But first, I have a few of my own." Alain blinked, unsure whether to smile or run. "Of course," he said, forcing a laugh. "That's what interviews are for." But this wasn't an interview. This was a trap, and he was the one who walked into it. A soldier stepped forward with a sealed folder. "You've been in our country for 23 days, Traoré began. You've visited 9 military-adjacent zones. You've recorded 3 restricted sites while pretending to interview guards." Alain shifted in his seat. "I'm a journalist. We go where the stories are." The president tilted his head. "Is it also journalism to send encrypted messages to foreign servers at 2:17 a.m.? The folder opened. Photos laid bare. Alain at night, laptop glowing. Alain near a military radio tower. Alain exchanging messages with a known French contractor. A man flagged by regional intelligence as a covert operative. Alain's face drained of color. I can explain." "Please do." Another soldier walked in with a confiscated laptop, Alain's own, taken from his guest house without him even realizing. The projector screen flickered to life. A detailed map of Burkina Faso appeared. Red pins marked oil routes, mine sites, 2 unlisted military storage depots. The folder was titled, "For Review, Côte d'Ivoire Client." Gasps echoed through the room. Alain stammered. These were just notes. I didn't. Then explain this, the president interrupted, holding up a printed email. It read, Target's movements predictable. Palace security thin near West Gate. Monitor for future asset placement. Alain looked like he'd seen a ghost. That's fake. It was sent from your encrypted email. Zone 3, 2:17 a.m. We don't forge evidence, Mr. Dugard. We collect it. The silence in the room was louder than a gunshot. The other journalists just stared. One whispered a prayer. Another shook his head slowly. Alain Dugard, the man who came to tell Africa's story, had been caught trying to steal it. President Traoré stepped to the microphone and looked straight into the camera. This man came to study us. But what he didn't know is that we studied him first. He did not come for truth. He came to expose our vulnerabilities, map our movements, and feed that data to foreign interests. Then he paused. Let the people decide. Is this journalism or betrayal? Alain said nothing. You came for stories, the president said. Now, you are the story. And with that, he gave the order. Escort him out. 2 guards stepped forward. Alain didn't resist. He lowered his head and walked out the way he came in. Only this time, he wasn't holding the camera. He was inside the frame. By sunset, the footage had already hit social media. The clip went viral. President Traoré calmly declaring, "Is this journalism or betrayal?" followed by the arrest. Then came the laptop screenshots, the emails, the maps, and finally the silent exit, a European man escorted from the room under full view of the world. Burkina Faso reacted first. Shops turned off music and played the conference on loop. Young men replayed it in tea corners. Elders nodded silently as it played over their radios. One woman said it best, "They used to come with guns. Now they come with cameras." In Nigeria, a viral post read, "He didn't raise his voice, but he raised the standard." In South Africa, murals of President Traoré went up overnight, painted with the words, "Africa has eyes now." In France, the government released a vague statement, "We expect fair treatment of our citizen." But they didn't mention the laptop. They didn't mention the maps, because they couldn't. Meanwhile, Alain Dugard sat in a military facility, under arrest for espionage, not journalism. No more press passes, no more interviews. He asked for legal counsel from the French embassy. President Traoré's response? "We have a bigger case to answer, and it belongs to Africa." He didn't speak again for 5 days. He didn't need to. The video had already spoken for him. But on the 5th day, he stepped into a school courtyard. No stage, no podium, just people. He looked into their eyes and said, "They've watched us for decades, not to help, but to control what we build, what we say, and what we dream." They sent one man with a camera, but it wasn't a lens. It was a weapon pointed at our future. Then he paused. "Don't mistake our silence for blindness. We see you now." That line became a battle cry. On walls, on phones, on streets, we see you now. This wasn't just about one spy. It was about every mic hidden to steal, every handshake given to deceive, every journalist who came not to report, but to infiltrate. This time, Africa didn't stay silent. And when the world tried to spin the story, Africa flipped the lens. Because this time, we were watching too. If this story moved you, don't let it disappear. Like the video. Share it across every platform. Comment, "We see you now" below. Subscribe to help keep African stories in African hands. Because cameras can capture lies, but when we aim them ourselves, they capture truth. Thank you for watching.